Family, Pastor Dan again. Last week we introduced you to a very special missionary family, Tom and Brooke Harshberger from our home church here in North Central Church, and they are missionaries all the way in Northern Ireland. They told us about some of the opportunities, God-given opportunities that He's provided to launch a brand new children's ministry in 2020. Learn a little bit more about some of the obstacles that they've been facing out on the field.
Obviously, with your personal experience this year, I mean, having to carry and face and endure what you've endured personally, and it compounds the pivot that you had to do on your work, on your mission work specifically. Take us through a little bit of what hardship, where the grief has come from this year, because it's not just COVID grief. You guys have lost 2 kids.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty horrible year. And just to be honest.
Yeah.
So we've had 2 babies this year, perfectly healthy babies that were just premature. Our daughter Lydia was born in January and our son Reese was born in August. And so we're walking that road and it's just been horrendous. And with coronavirus, so much of our life and our friendships, you don't even realize it till it's gone, but are done over dinner on our kitchen table. And then for our family, so much of that is done over FaceTime. So we've still been able to talk to our family over FaceTime, obviously, but our friendships, just because you're not right now allowed to have anyone in your home, and then everything outside is all the shops and things and coffee shops are closed. And now that it's autumn in Northern Ireland, it gets dark at 3:30 in the afternoon, which is just ridiculous. And it rains, so it's not like you can be outside very much with people. So, I mean, it's been a huge struggle. It's just been really hard. We're here to plant churches, and we wanted to plant a church this year, or at least get the ball really rolling with one. We did not feel like it was wise for us to really start leading a church plant and leading people while mourning the death of our daughter at the time, but now our first 2 kids. We didn't feel like that was wise or smart. In some ways, the YouTube thing has been amazing because we've been able to just do a really creative, unique ministry, but at the same time, it's ministry with us in our home to a computer screen.
Yeah.
So it's been great in some ways because we've been able to connect with people in ways we never have before. But like Tom was saying, so much of what we wanted to do with our YouTube channel was partnering with local artisans. And we had all those things set up, but now we can't even go into their shops. So we can't even talk to
The thought of losing one child is unbearable. To go through that one time and then probably start to believe in your heart, everybody suffers. This is our passing storm. And then to have a storm blow in again, just like it in a year like this. How are you processing this? How are you finding yourself working through this stunning grief in the same year?
I mean, I do know that there's certain practices that we keep to try to work through what we're working through. We try to maintain the same schedule and the same rhythms every day. And whether that's, doing devotions together or going to the gym together or counseling, things like that. And I think it's just one of those things, you walk through one of these seasons, this isn't the time to be all clammed up on how hard it is or how difficult it is to walk through a season like this. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that we've realized over the last couple months is that in the midst of the trauma and the grief that we've gone through, the amount of people that have come out of the woodwork to be wow, I can't believe you're actually talking about this. We ran into a guy from our town at the gym a couple weeks ago, and he's I would never tell anybody this. I would never tell anybody but this. But my wife lost a son. And he's and I just think it's incredible that you guys are sharing your story. You don't realize how much walking through a season like that, really showing people what you have to do to get through it. There is no silver lining to what we've gone through, but I would say that has been a really helpful part of our story, is being able to carry it with other people.
I was reading the story of the woman with the issue of blood the other day. I just was really terrified with her because she came out into public. She came out and was walking through a crowd where she shouldn't be, and she went and she touched the hem of his garment, obviously. And I just really identified with that story. I read that and I was like, I feel like I am just clinging to the hem of his garment right now. I just feel like I am getting out of the house and I'm walking around and I'm telling her a story and I'm just clinging to the hem of his garment.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else to do. What else do you do other than that?
Yeah, and that's I think a part of the frustration with grief is that you don't feel like doing anything, but you have to do something. You know, almost like your whole life is progressing in mud. You know, and then the sensation that this is never going to be better. We couldn't be more grateful for what you're doing and proud to be associated with you guys. So, and what you're facing on a personal level. You know, it hits us deep, and we want to project to you, if it's not too late, how heavy our hearts are with what you guys are facing. And thank God we all are turning to a God who brings healing, because I don't know how people would continue on without some hope that there's restoration and there's healing that comes along with time. I don't know how they would do it, but we're with you guys.
We believe, and I hope you do too, that God uses His local church to reach not just hearts and homes and neighborhoods in North Central New York, but He uses our church to help reach the world. And He does through missionaries just like the Harshbergers, but they need our support. So when we jump in, we support them through prayer. Sometimes we go, and all the time we have the opportunity to give. And the way that we do that in our church family is through faith promises, where we get to make a promise that we will give above and beyond our tithe giving and our special project giving, but on a regular basis give a little bit more to our missionaries. And we need you to promise to do that using a faith promise card. You can do the one online. You can also do the one that's stacked up right next to the give boxes. But if you sense that you want to be a part of what God is doing to help empower reaching lost people outside of our own church family, we want you to be a part of it. Pledge, promise to get involved, and then we're going to put all of those resources together and support missionaries more than we've ever supported. We have fewer missionaries to support, but that's on purpose. It's so that we can actually support them more deeply, more thoroughly, and with more significant financial contributions like we want to do for the Harshbergers in 2020. I pray that God moves you to do that. I pray that you accept the challenge, and it's an honor to give, especially if we're unable to go. I love you, church family. This is another way to help make disciples, and I'm praying for wisdom as you discern how and how much to promise to our missionaries.